right, Ryan Jarrell here for All Access MMA, and I have the Bull, Andre Harrison, on the show now, who'll be fighting next at CES 65 on November the 7th. Andre, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good, man. And as I was telling you before we went live, I'm excited to see you compete again. It's been far too long, my friend, 2 years now. So I'm sure everyone that follows you, that is a fan of yours inside of the cage, is wondering, why the layoff? Why have you been out of action for so long? So please tell us.
What's funny is everybody asks me. They was like, "Hey, man, like, did you retire? Are you not fighting? Did you get hurt? What's the scoop?" And the honest truth is, I just couldn't find a fight. I just could not find a fight. And not saying that I'm this absolute monster and everybody is terrified to find me, but what would happen is, because of my wrestling and my background, my record and my background, finding a fight on a regional circuit has been an absolute nightmare, because if you're up and comer and you're doing well, you don't want to fight a guy that's 22-2. It's a big risk, and you're not really getting paid big dollars to take that kind of a risk. And if you had a rough patch, then you definitely don't want to take it, because that's going to pretty much mess you up for good. So it's like, it's just been tough finding somebody to say yeah.
So what was the deal with PFL? Obviously you're not there anymore, but I think maybe a lot of people felt like you'd be a shoo-in to be brought back there. What happened with signing with PFL?
Prior to the whole pandemic, I guess with everything happening, them not knowing what was going on, they cut half the roster. And in the process, for whatever reason, they felt as though I was one of the people that they weren't going to bring back. I won the World Series title, and when it transferred over, I went to the semifinals the first year, and then lost in the rematch with Lance. And then I went to the quarterfinals the following year and got caught in a stupid submission. And those are my only two losses of my career. And so, you know, I guess for whatever reason they felt as though, we're going to try something else, or whatever the case is. So, to each his own, I guess, and got to keep the ball rolling.
That had to have been pretty surprising to you and your team, I'd imagine, not bringing you back.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked. It was rough. I wanted to, go ahead and get a legit shot at grabbing that title and everything, but things happen for a reason. So we just have to keep on trotting.
Give me, I guess, your takeaway from that loss to Gilpin. You said earlier, just getting caught. I mean, when you're fighting high-level guys, that tends to happen, but you don't lose very often, man. Your record is stellar. So what's the takeaway from that setback?
So I'm not sure if you watched the fight, but when I was fighting Gilpin, I was beating him up terribly in the first round. I mean, it was bad. The guy couldn't touch me, And so the year prior, I had, in that first fight that I had in the quarterfinals, it was a war. I ended up hurting my hand. I ended up hurting my shin and my foot. So it was like, going into that second fight, it was like, man, this is gonna be a rough one going in. And so thinking about that and going into that second round, I was like, what I'm gonna do in the second round, instead of striking and gunning to try and finish this guy, I'll shoot in, press him up against the cage, take him down, and then kind of like cruise into the semifinals. Well, as I shot in, I had him up against the cage. He was able to, get over that choke, and I went to roll out, and that was all she wrote. And so kudos to him. I'm not taking anything away from anybody or whatever. He won that fair, square, and whatever. But it was more so of a stupid mistake, because I've been competing long enough now to know that I should never take my foot off the gas. And so I took my foot off the gas, and when you do that, you allow the person behind you to catch up. And he didn't only catch up; he passed me in the process. So I learned from that. You going, just keep on going. Don't ever slow down. Don't ever fall back. Just keep on pressing.
Well, lesson learned, it seems here. And I also wanted to ask you, prior to that, you had that draw with Movlid. Did you agree with that? Did you feel you should have won that fight? What was your
No, I
takeaway?
was so confused because you have 3 rounds, so one would assume that if you win 2 out of the 3 rounds, that you win the fight. But I guess because the first round was just so bad, which it was. A lot of people don't know. I'll give you a funny story. Well, funny now, not funny in the moment. Was that early on in that fight, he threw a right hand, and then right off of it, he threw a spinning hook kick. When he hit me with that spinning hook kick, I do not remember anything else from that point to the rest of the round. Right? I don't remember getting that barrage at the end. I don't remember the flying. I didn't know I got hit with a knee until after the fight. When walking back to the locker room, I'm like, shit. Well, at least I didn't get hit with the knee. And coach was like, "What are you talking about? You got kneed in the first round." I'm like, "No, I didn't." And when they showed me, I realized that I was pretty much just gone at that point in time. And so, I understand, he dominated the first round. Definitely credit to him. Mobley is a tough SOB, tough dude, very skilled fighter. And, we left it all out on the cage. I think personally that was the most exciting fight of the season, you know. So, I appreciate that experience here in that cage. Do I agree with the decision to answer your question? No, I thought I won. I thought because I won the last 2 rounds that that was me winning the fight.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm trying to remember all the particulars from that fight. It was so long ago now. I'll have to go
mm,
back and rewatch it, but I do remember it being an absolute barn burner and very very close in the end. So, well, yeah, obviously a lot of people have just been wanting to see you compete in general. So now you're here
mhm.
back at CES. Before we dive into this matchup and everything, tell me, what has life been like for you since we've seen you compete? Because the world's been crazy. The pandemic in 2020 has turned everything upside down. So just tell me, what life and training has been like.
Well, that's been the only thing that's been constant for me is the gym and training. Um, I was I was able to make a move from New York to Florida, and it's it's been bittersweet. I miss home, but I love Florida, so it's almost like in a perfect world I'd be able to merge the two. But I'm making the best of it. I got a lot of friends and people that I love and respect in Florida at Sanford, so it's definitely a dope experience being down there, and I have the ability to come up to New York whenever I want. I'm in New York right now, training with my team and Keith Trimble and everybody, so you know you can't complain.
Will you head back to Sanford for this camp before the CES fight, or are you going to stay in New York here prior to?
Well, I just came up uh, this week, so I'll be here for like another week or two, and then I'll head back down to do my last week in Florida.
When you are in Florida at Sanford, obviously that's a gym that's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. There's just so many great fighters that train out of Sanford MMA. Who are your main partners? Who are you typically going with?
So I do a lot of rounds with Sean Soriano, Adam Boric, Raphael. I don't want to butcher his last name, but he's fighting Matt Riddell here soon in the UFC at 155. Um, I've done several rounds with Michael Chandler. I mean, we got for my size, we got a lot of guys between the 45s and 55ers.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What are you walking around at these days? How big do you get?
I don't get too big, man. Especially Florida is hot, so if you hydrated properly, you'll be sweating all day. So I walk around in and around 160, 162. Nice and light, lean and light.
Would you ever consider fighting at another weight class outside of featherweight, or is that your home and you're just going to be staying at 145?
Man, when I was looking for a fight, I was trying to fight at 45, 55. I tried to get a catch weight fight at 165, and nothing stuck. So, the fact that I got this fight at 45, I think it's gonna, do enough for me where it give me a push in the right direction, and I can just remain at home at 145. And if something were to come up at 155, and it made sense for me, I'll definitely take it. I would like to snatch another title up wherever I'm at. Um, whether I would like to go to the UFC and win a world title. Um, or if I end up back at PFL, I would like to win that world title. So, one of those places I get a world title, I'll be a happy man.
Okay, all right. And I did want to just ask you too, just outside of MMA, tell me a little bit, I guess, about you as a person. Like, what are some of the hobbies that you're doing nowadays to kind of keep yourself occupied when you're not in the gym?
So I have been doing some private security, uh, and you meet some of the funniest people in the world doing this stuff. So I do that. I have a group of clients that I hang out with. Uh, I'm of Trinidadian descent, so I like a lot of West Indian music. So I've been doing a lot of stuff like in the dance hall culture and soca culture. So Miami, they just had Miami Carnival, which was a crazy environment, and just regular stuff, just doing that, hanging out, chilling.
I think
Enjoy.
yeah, enjoying yourself, no doubt. And I was just gonna say, I think I saw on your Instagram you were doing some shooting recently. Is that something that
Oh
you're into?
yeah, I don't even know how I could forget about that. I When I was getting ready to move to Florida, all right, let's say my moving day was on a Tuesday. I literally went in to take the exam on Tuesday to get my license to carry. That same day, before I put away so much as a T-shirt, I went and got my. So I've got heavily involved with guns. I go shooting often, uh, and it's been a good experience doing that. I have a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Any ammunition guys out there that want to, sponsor somebody, all right now.
The bull is your man. Yeah, no doubt about
Yeah.
that. All right, CES 65, man, November the 7th. It'll be here before you know it. This is going down in Providence, Rhode Island. Who's going to be in your corner come fight night?
Probably Keith Trimble and Carlos Rosado.
And
Yeah.
you're a New England guy. I mean, you're from the Northeast in that general area. So,
New
you know,
York, New York, Rotten
that's
Apple.
so are you expecting a lot of fans, a lot of support come fight night?
A lot of people say they're gonna be out there. So if there's a lot of Bull fans, I apologize about the badness that's gonna happen because these guys are crazy. But yeah, it should be a good number of people out there. I know people still skeptical about COVID, but
Yeah, we're past that by now. And Andre, CES is a huge promotion. I mean, it's on UFC Fight Pass. It's going to reach a lot of people. The eyes of the MMA world will be watching you guys. A big win here over Mauro Chaulet, your opponent. Where does that position you here moving forward? I know his record doesn't really compare to yours, but what does a signature win here do for you?
it puts me up, puts me in the UFC, and it puts me going in there. And I think with my record and accolades and everything that comes along with that, I think I get in the UFC and I get some good fights out the gate. So I think that's the next step. I think it's about time too, man. Like I done fought everywhere. So it's about time.
Yeah, I was actually cage side when you fought Bruce Boynton at Madison Square Garden World Series of Fighting, and man, you looked so good that night. And I'm sure it's not going to change at all come this fight. What's your prediction? How do you see this fight going down? Does it get out of the first round?
I say early second round. Early second round. Yeah.
All right, can't wait, man. It's been far too long since we've seen you fight. Again, November 7th, the Bull, Andre Harrison, is back. Before I let you go, man, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
You could definitely find me at Dre the Bull MMA 145 on Instagram and just Dre the Bull on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, I'm definitely gonna always thank Keith Trimble. Um, first my dad, my role model. Belmore Kickboxing. Without them, there would be no Bull. And welcome on the new family, Sanford MMA. Henry always looking out. Henry Hoof always looking out for me. My sparring partners, Sean, Adam, and Raphael. You guys are awesome. And I'm cool with a lot of the Tiger Showman guys. So I'll be doing some sparring with them while I'm here as well. Shane Burgos and all those guys, Jimmy Rivera, Julio Arce. So thank you guys as well. And let's all get these W's. I know Shane's fighting on the 6th. at Madison Square Garden. So let's all go out there and get these W's.